The extended highlights from this one, Falkirk against Rangers, and the best of the action too from the 5 games that took place in the top flight yesterday. So let's settle back and enjoy full live commentary, Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. It is Falkirk against Rangers with Kevin Thompson, Ian McCall and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. Welcome to the Falkirk Stadium as Rangers aim to keep pace with Hearts and Celtic at the top of the table. The heat is very much on with very little room for error, but Falkirk are a real force to be reckoned with, and still, as we've heard, have ambitions of their own. Blue skies currently as we look out to the Grangemouth refineries, but cold and blustery ahead of a game that could have major implications for the title race. Rangers all in orange today, their changed kit. Falkirk in their home strip, a blue and white top with white shorts and white socks, and we are very close to being ready to go. James Tavernier and Col Donaldson, the respective captains, just going through the coin toss at the moment with referee Don Robertson on the halfway line, and the final game of this Premiership weekend will soon be up and running. So much at stake, so much to play for, and well, you could expect a few nerves to be jangling in those Rangers ranks as they try to narrow the gap once more on Heart of Midlothian and leapfrog Celtic again into second place. A draw would do that, I guess, on goal difference, but a draw is not what they have come here for. A draw is what they got last time. It cost Russell Martin his job in the end, the straw that broke the camel's back, if you like, and a pretty unimpressive draw at home against Falkirk as well under Danny Rule. So yet to get a victory against Falkirk this season. Can they do it this afternoon, or can Falkirk frustrate them once more and perhaps get a win of their own to move them that bit closer to Hibernian in 5th. Falkirk get us underway and immediately play it down the left-hand side. Tavernier sends it back up towards the halfway line. It's won by Henderson. It'll come for Giga, who also hoofs it over the halfway line, and Chermiti backing into Henderson, and he's fouled him, and it's an early free kick to the home side. Quickly taken by Brad Spencer, who's passed on the armband back to Col Donaldson today, back in the starting lineup, having been unused at Fir Park. Here comes Calvin Miller down the left-hand side, early ball, and it should be an easy take for Jack Butland, and it is on the edge of his 6-yard box. Looks in these early stages as though Miller is starting out on the left-hand side, having played, I think, a bit more centrally against Motherwell, with Finn Yates in that sort of number 10 role. But as the guys were discussing pre-match, there's a lot of fluidity about the three who play in behind Barney Stewart, who will not need too many invitations to add to his goal-scoring tally, as Rangers give it away in the middle of the park. A little bit slack from Gassama, but the ball trickles out for a Rangers throw-in this near side just down beneath us, about 20 yards from their own corner flag, to be taken by the right back and captain James Tavernier, who is Kevin was mentioning, looking for a second title in his long tenure at Rangers. Fernandez just nudging the ball back to Jack Butland. Nothing in the game so far, 90 seconds in. Giga just rolls it back to Butland once more, just on the edge of his penalty area. Plays it short out to Giga once more. He'll be closed down, but plays the ball forward, but can't find Asgar, who was the target. Spencer's there, he clips it forward. Looked like Stewart was coming back from an offside position, and he declines to go for it. Comes through to Jack Butland. Rangers having the early possession, Kevin, albeit mainly in their own half.
Yeah, I think you can already tell that the pitch looks quite sticky, Al. I know they had the sprinklers on before it, but you can see it's a couple of bobbly passes. The more intriguing thing was that the kick-off went straight to over Tavernier, then the long ball went over Tavernier, so I wonder if that's an area that Falkirk will try and exploit. Yeah,
and perhaps why Calvin Miller's out there to try and get the better of him. Rangers making a foray forward down the left-hand side for the first time, but eventually out of play on that far side. Just on the sticky pitch, Ian, I mean, that's not something that's going to suit Falkirk. It's not like they would not be wanting it slick, because it's exactly the type of football they play, is the slick passing.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why the sprinklers were on so much before the game, before the warm-up, after the warm-up. But it dries in a day like this, it dries out really quickly. But we did see a really good bit of what we said before the game. Calvin Miller, a wee bit of reverse movement, and he got in behind Tavernier really good ball from Tate, but he got in behind him really easily.
Ball just almost holding up there outside the Rangers penalty area as it's played long forward. Just the pitch, as the guys have both spoken about there, does look pretty dry and sticky, and that will have to be something that the players are aware of, as Chukwani takes a little bit of a chance there up against Spencer, gets it back to his goalkeeper, and now Butland clips up looking for Asgard, but he's beaten to it by Henderson. Down the left it comes, and seen out of play there by Giga before Calvin Miller can get there. 3.5 minutes in at Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk 0, Rangers 0, as Tavernier prepares to take this throw in. Dujon Sterling replaced it right back as Tavernier throws it straight to Spencer. A little bit untidy in the opening stages from both sides, really, as Lisa now will get a throw in here on the left hand side on loan from Swansea, and as Ian was saying previously, a very impressive first season in the Premiership here. Finds Yates at the edge of the box, trying to get the better of Fernandez, who's using his strength to just try and get the ball clear, but can only clear it as far as Lisa. Lisa tries to come forward down the left hand side. Tavernier makes one challenge, then a second. That's going to be a goal kick to Rangers. Lisa claiming it came off Tavernier last, but I think Don Robertson got that one correct. It's a goal kick to Rangers. 4.5 played. Falkirk 0, Rangers 0. Butland just takes it short. Or in fact, it's going to be taken again by Fernandez. Back to his goalkeeper, the goal kick. Butland now on the left foot, clips that one up over the halfway line, looking for Tavernier this time. He nods it on, but out of play.
I'll see when Falkirk press the ball, honestly, they're leaving 4 on 4 at the back. Rangers are leaving kind of 4 up. We ask our Gazama coming off a wee bit, but it's man for man at the back.
Yeah, well, they do take chances. Confident enough in their own ability that they can make those risks. If Miller picks up as Giga loses out, Miller on the left hand side of the penalty area. Early chance, gets the ball in, big chance for the first goal! Ben Brogio puts Falkirk ahead. Just over 5 minutes on the clock, and Rangers are behind. Falkirk made the breakthrough. Miller's ball in from the left, evading everyone in the Rangers back line, and Brogio was there. He took a touch, and from 6 yards out, tucks it past Jack Butland. It's Falkirk 1, Rangers 0.
I cannot believe it, Al. I've mentioned it a couple of times. Brilliant start for Falkirk. That man, Calvin Miller. I don't know why James Tavernier is starting so high up the pitch, because when the ball turns over, it's definitely something that John McGlynn's tried to exploit. Down the side, great ball, and he actually played it early. But what a finish for Brogio. I think if you watch it, it would be so easy to slash it at Al. But great composure, takes his time, finds it in the bottom corner past Jack Butland. 1-0 Falkirk.
I think it was poor from Giga. It was either Giga or Fernandez. I couldn't see the number, but they didn't sort their feet out well enough, because Calvin Miller, I'm not sure who he was trying to pick out there. And I think if he'd sorted his feet out, he could have cleared it.
The ball played forward as Rangers look to respond immediately. Ben Brogio's 4th goal since moving to Falkirk, just 11 games. And well, I think it was you, Ian, that was mentioning pre-match about the quality of the loan signings from Falkirk, and Ben Brogio, since he's come in January on the recommendation partly of John McGinn, and he's made a real impression. He's made a big impression at the start of this game, getting on the end of Calvin Miller's ball across the face of goal, and he tucked it home, and it's Falkirk who have the advantage here, and Rangers have it all to do. Still plenty of time, of course, but a bit of adversity early on for them to deal with, and it'll be interesting to see how they react to that, as Magoma has it left hand side, plays it forward now for Chukwani, but 10 yards inside his own half, comes in off that left flank and plays it back to Giga, who was certainly at fault for that opening goal for Falkirk. Takes his time and then plays it to his right to Raskan to Gassama here, forward again for Raskan, crossing the halfway line, but it's space for him to move into. Tavernier is very high, as Kevin's been saying. Asgar now midway inside the Falkirk half, spins 360 and plays it to Chukwani. Now it's Magoma. Magoma's going to line up a shot, takes a deflection off Tavernier, comes to Raskan, might come back for Tavernier. The attempt blocked by Brad Spencer in there, and he's able to get the ball clear up towards Barney Stewart, who's just blocked off there by Fernandez, and Giga tidies up and gets it back to Jack Butland. That was a half a chance there for Rangers.
It was, and there's going to be goals in this game. There's any doubt about it.
Giga 10 yards inside his own half, being closed down there. And the ball goes back to Butland. Now Fernandez out to the left-hand side for Magoma, who's put it straight out of play. He goes down as if he was caught, but there didn't seem to be much in that, and the referee certainly not buying it. Gives the throw-in to Falkirk over on the far side. 8.5 played. Falkirk leading by an early goal to 0. Ben Brogio on the score sheet as it's back with Scott Bain. Out to Henderson at the edge of his own penalty area. Now Lisa back to Henderson again, just on the edge of that box, and back with Scott Bain, who didn't cover himself in glory, I didn't think, for the Motherwell first goal last weekend, but on the whole has had a terrific season, and rewarded for that by another Scotland cap after a long hiatus. Rangers pick up possession in the middle of the park. Raskan forward for Chermiti, nice little lay-up, but Chukwani can't initially gather, does get it out to Moore in the end. He's going to try and get the better here of Keelan Adams going down that left-hand side. Ball still in play as he tries to bustle his way through, but Adams in the end makes a good challenge, and Falkirk pick up possession in the middle of the park, and they'll try and fire this forward for Barney Stewart down the right-hand channel. In behind at the moment, not a great deal of support, tries to cut it back, but that's cut out by Giga on his own penalty spot, and now Magoma takes over for Rangers. Still 1-0 Falkirk lead. Ben Brogio with a goal as Magoma evades one challenge. Now he's into the Falkirk half, tries to play it through for Moore, but that's cut out well by Donaldson. Falkirk have it back. Ball exchanging hands pretty regularly in this early stages. Finn Yates was expecting the run there to be made by Brogio. It didn't happen, and the ball's out of play for a Rangers throw. And almost 10 minutes on the clock, and Rangers trailing. It's not what they had in mind, Kevin, when they came here.
Yeah, they look leggy to me, Al. You know, Tate now has played 2 brilliant balls. That one to Barney Stewart that we've just seen, the one for Calvin Miller earlier, that kind of punch with his laces. It's been 2 brilliant balls in behind Rangers, but they just look a bit lacklustre, Rangers, the way they've started. I expected them to play in the Falkirk half, but they're struggling to string 2 passes together at the moment.
Chermiti trying to spin away from Donaldson. Donaldson trying to stick with him. Chermiti down the left-hand side. Donaldson makes the challenge, gets possession, then he's bundled to the ground and buys his side a free kick deep in his own half. And Rangers frustrated in these opening exchanges. Danny Rule having a word there with the 4th official about the decision that went called Donaldson and Falkirk's way.
They've been really brave, Falkirk, Al, because I think Danny Rowe has asked James Tavernier to push up a line and try and squeeze Lisa and Calvin Miller back. So Calvin Miller, his most effective parts as a football player is attacking, obviously defending maybe not so much, but yeah, Calvin Miller's just staying off the back of James Tavernier, and when the ball turns over, the space they've got down this left channel is incredible.
Ball played long forward from Bain. Barney Stewart wins the header, but it comes to Tavernier right hand side. Cross comes Tate to try and close him down. The ball forward for Gassama doesn't reach him. Falkirk have it once more, and it's Tate again feeding it forward for Calvin Miller at the edge of the penalty area. Gets it under control. Back comes Raskan to help his defence. Gets the ball back to Dylan Tate once more, now 25 yards from goal. Tavernier's with him, tries to slip it through. Not a bad idea. Keelan Adams not quite on the same wavelength, and it's gathered by Butland as Rangers get the ball moving again quickly through Magoma into the feet here of Chermiti, 10 yards inside his own half. Good ball for Asgar, now out to the right hand side for Gassama to try and attack Lisa. Tavernier well advanced once more up to the angle of the box. Not a great ball back, but Gassama's done well, forces it back to Tavernier, right hand side, crossing opportunity into the box. It's over Chermiti, half cleared. It will come to Fernandez midway inside the Falkirk half, plays it square to Raskan, back out to Tavernier now. Tavernier comes back the way, closed down by Lisa, and comes all the way back almost to the halfway line for Giga. Now Fernandez once more. Rangers pressing a lot of bodies forward just at the moment. Giga in this side, the centre circle, looking for a bit of movement here. Plays it into Asgar, who fires it back to Fernandez. Falkirk everyone behind the ball right now inside their own half as Tavernier picks up, pressed by Miller. Now Rangers having to go back the way. Giga for Fernandez once more, now about 10 yards inside his own half, and Giga's that bit deeper. Here he is playing it to Tavernier. 12.5 played. Falkirk in front through Ben Brosio's 6-minute goal, and Falkirk have possession once more. Yates back to Tate, feeds it forward. Giga's going to have to be careful here under pressure from Barney Stewart. A little bit lackadaisical initially from Giga, eventually gets the ball out of play, but you can be sure Barney Stewart's not going to give him a quiet afternoon.
I said before the game about the movement beyond that Falkirk do, which is excellent, but I don't know about Kevin, but they're getting in behind so easily, it's just unbelievable.
Here's Cole Donaldson on the halfway line, clips out to the left-hand side. Almost a really good take actually from Miller, who then slips. Tavernier able to recover, but the initial control from Miller was phenomenal as he pulled it out of the air. Rangers work it out to the left-hand side. Asgar to Chukwani, and now Migoma closed down there by the goal scorer Brosio, and it now breaks for Keelan Adams, but the referee pulls it back for a free kick to Rangers for the challenge by Brosio. Wasn't a great deal in that, but
fortunate, I thought. Yeah. Fortunate he got a foul.
14 minutes in, Falkirk the team the advantage, and Hearts and Celtic supporters will be willing them on to victory this afternoon. Rangers can ill afford to drop points here if they want to make it their 56th league title. Here's Chukwani, back to Migoma. Away form, certainly of late, hasn't been sparkling from Rangers. The win over St Mirren was first in 4 as Asgar gets it back to Chermiti. Now it's Gassama, right hand side of the box, chance here. Bain sticks out a right leg and gets a lot of distance on that. Chermiti still battling away, gets it back to Raskan. Rangers keep the pressure on here. Raskan in the middle of the park, looking for an option out to his right hand side, plays it into the feet of Gassama, drops the shoulder to try and get away from Lisa, fires it in, but Bain clutches that one, too close to the keeper really from Gassama, who in fairness has started in quite lively fashion. Quarter of an hour in though, his side are trailing by a goal to nil.
You can see that Gassama wants it played in behind Al, but they almost feel reluctant. I know Fernandez plays one there and Chermiti just gets in behind Cole Donaldson, and that's where the chance comes through. But so many times Falkirk's line's actually quite high, yet when you look at Mikey Moore, Chermiti, Asgard, Gassama, even Tav, when he's trying to give this width in the wide areas, not one of them are really running in behind, which is making it really comfortable for Falkirk's backline.
We just get a free kick. It's Gassama taken down by Lisa. Clip forward by Giga, forward for Chermiti. Good challenge though by Donaldson to recover and pick up possession on the left hand side. Now the skipper plays it left footed over a halfway line. Raskan though heads it down to Chukwani. Rangers looking a bit more like themselves in the last few minutes as Asgar gets the free kick for a challenge by Henderson midway inside the Falkirk half. Just signs of life lately from Rangers, Ian.
Yeah, they're just starting to dominate possession a little bit, and there is space to move in behind Falkirk. They don't need to always play things on their feet, but Raskan's got on the ball 2 or 3 times and made decent passes in the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's just you're starting to put Falkirk under a wee bit of pressure.
Rangers free kick then, very central area, looks too far out for a direct shot to goal. You never put anything past James Tavernier really, but we're talking easily 35 yards here, probably slightly more. And Asgar is close to the ball as well, but it is Asgar who clips it in. Chermiti with a chance and he lofts it over the crossbar. I think the offside flag is going up against Chermiti, but nonetheless it's a massive opportunity for the striker, and not for the first time this season. He's ballooned it well off target.
Yeah, it was a chance, Al. I think the linesman's flag, I think you're right, it did go up. A clever wee ball for James Tavernier, and he really should be putting it in the back of the net, albeit I know it would be disallowed, but glimmers of hope for Rangers.
Yeah, well, I think what you want him to do is put the ball in the back of the net and then wait for VAR to decide whether it was actually offside or not, but certainly Certainly Chermiti not testing Scott Bain there. I mean, to be fair to him, Ian, it's not the easiest ball to take out there and volley it on the turn, but
it's not that hard.
Well, as I was going to say, if you're a Rangers number 9, then it's something you should be able to execute as he's dragged back there.
You've got to score. I mean, I'd love to double check that, because I mean, it looked offside, but I'm not sure the linesman just didn't give the by kick, because they took it from the box, you know. So he's got to finish it either way. I mean, he's just got to put it stick it in the net and see what happens.
It was a nice little dink into the box, disguised one from Asgard in the end. It looked like Tavernier was going to take it, but Asgard just turned his back and clipped it over the defence, but Chermiti couldn't find the finish. Rangers have a throw in here over on their left hand side, just in line with their own 18-yard box. 18 minutes in, and it's Falkirk 1, Rangers 0. Ben Broggio's 4th goal of the season has given John McGlynn's side the advantage, and as things stand they would move to within 2 of Hibernian going into the split, and going into their Scottish Cup semi-final, a mouth-watering one against their rivals Dunfermline at Hampden on Saturday. And of course we'll have live coverage of that right here on Sports Sound for you, as well as on TV and online, as Falkirk try and come forward. Miller almost gets to that head of Fernandez, who does well in the end, to be fair, and pokes it to Raskan. Forward for Asgard, gets the break of the ball, but in steps Donaldson and just plays that forward, and Butland will have to come out of his box to the right hand side and start once more for Rangers. Raskan down the right for Tavernier. Tavernier with the early ball, looking over the top for Moore. Won't quite come for him. Adams will pick up. Moore chasing him on that right flank now for Falkirk. Ball for Barney Stewart. He's one-on-one here with Giga now. What can he do? Stewart just tries to clip it across goal. There's no Falkirk players coming in. Not really sure if he was going for goal there or trying to get it back across goal. Either way, doesn't really come off. Behind for a goal kick. 90 minutes in, Falkirk 1, Rangers now.
The one thing they've got to do, Falkirk, is, I mean, I think that's the 3rd time Barney Stewart's got in. I'm not even sure it's fantastic movement, but when he's up there, you need to have somebody. I mean, it's because it's such a long ball up though, you need to have somebody, 1 or 2, busting themselves to make the box.
Fernandez clips it out to the right hand side for Tavernier. Chests it down, but he's got his he's facing his own goal, and then Giga goes down under the challenge of Miller, and he gets the throw in only. Didn't look like a free kick certainly, and it is Don Robertson has signalled for the throw in. 20 minutes almost on the clock, and Rangers trail by a goal to 0. Gassama back to Tavernier, who then plays it long up towards the halfway line. But a hopeful ball really. Donaldson wins the header. Raskan back over the halfway line. Adams will just direct that back to Scott Bain at the edge of his own penalty area. Closed down by Chermiti, but gets it forward here to the goal scorer Broggio, but he's lost out to Chukwani. Good strength there from Chukwani. Back goes Broggio, makes the challenge. Chukwani wants a free kick. Thought he might have got it on that occasion. Falkirk have given it straight to Raskan. Raskan up towards the edge of the penalty area, slips it to his right to Gassama. Gassama at the edge of the box, trying to find a bit of space. Feeds it into Asgard with his back to goal. Penalty spot, it's hooked away by the Falkirk defence. Keelan Adams getting the touch there, and Fernandez will have to come all the way deep inside his own half to retrieve things. Rangers threatening to make chances, but nothing has ever been quite clear cut for them so far, apart maybe from the Chermiti opportunity from the free kick that was, I think, flagged offside, but ended up well over the crossbar. Here's Raskan just inside his own half, back to Giga, and he plays it square for Fernandez now, new Nigerian international. Brings it over the halfway line, then feeds it to Tavernier right hand side. Tavernier checks back the way and back to Fernandez once more on the halfway. Plays it square here to Raskan, looking to try and build the Rangers attack here as they try to get back on level terms. Now Moore been relatively quiet in these opening exchanges. There was a bit of a doubt, I'm not quite sure what the injury he was carrying was, but he's in the starting 11. Falkirk will be aiming to keep him quiet as he's played out to the right hand side once more for Tavernier, and then back infield to Giga. Giga on the halfway line to Magoma, left hand side, back to the centre circle, and Giga once more. He tries to play it out to his right, looking for Tavernier. Miller's there first, but he's lost it to Tavernier. He pokes it and then he's brought to the ground, and Rangers will have another free kick, a bit closer to goal this time. Still fair old distance out, right of centre, but better stuff from Rangers there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a poor decision from Calvin Miller. I think he's just going to try and head it and put 4 or 5 yards on it rather than try to take it down in that wind. So, but I just don't think, I don't know what Kevin thinks, I don't think they're moving the ball quickly enough, Rangers, particularly along the back. The two centre backs, it's so slow in possession of the ball.
I think the front line for me, Coley, is like, when I'm watching them, if you could freeze them all 5 when you think of the attacking players in this Rangers team, hardly any of them are wanting to like drop in, hardly any of them are wanting to just spin and run in behind to create space for somebody else. It all looks a bit lacklustre, and as you mentioned, if the ball then comes forward slowly, it just makes it so much easier for Falkirk.
This is a chance though for Rangers on the set piece. They are a threat from these situations. Tavernier probably about 28 yards from goal here. This one's certainly not beyond them to go for a direct effort at goal. Bain crouches just a yard or two off his line, 2-man wall, but Tavernier clips it to the back post. It's straight behind off the head of Asgar. Never a real threat to Scott Bain on that occasion, and Falkirk can breathe again. 23 minutes in, they have the goal advantage. Ben Brogio's goal as a Falkirk player down. Brad Spencer just getting a word from the referee, not quite sure. I think he needs treatment, not quite sure what happened to him, but he's back on his feet, and Scott Bain prepares to take this goal kick. But yeah, all a little bit static in the forward areas, Kevin, essentially.
Yeah, that's what it looks like so far. They lacked a wee bit of invention, a bit of imagination, and obviously you're looking at guys like Mikey Moore that we know that he can change a game in the flick of a switch. So, you know, Asgard coming to the ball, turning it over, Shermiti, even though he's got support up there, at times he's looked isolated and hardly had a touch of the ball. The two big boys, Henderson and Cole Donaldson, have loved the battle with him, and so far they've handled him really well.
Chukwani seemed to kind of duck under that header there, and it skims off the top of his head, and out for a Falkirk throw-in, left-hand side, midway inside the Rangers half, to be taken by Philip Lisa here. Falkirk, on the other hand, have plenty of movement. Gillen Tate looking for the ball, but it goes back to Henderson, who in turn it back to Cole Donaldson just inside his own half. He clips it out to the right-hand side. Brogio and Adams almost getting in each other's way there. Brogio eventually picks up and nudges it back here to Dylan Tate on the halfway line, clips it down the right, overhits that one though. That'll drift behind for a Rangers goal kick. Just about 20 minutes left in this first period, Rangers trailing. They have done from the early stages as Ben Brogio knocked the ball past Jack Butland as Chukwani is closed down. He's lost it in a dangerous area. It's Miller now picking up. Rangers trying to get bodies back. Dylan Tate challenged well by Raskan, and Rangers have it back, but Gisama's walked into trouble, and now it's Lisa. Lisa picks up. Rangers giving the ball away twice in a bad area there as it's worked out to Miller on the left hand side for Falkirk. Comes inside, looks there for Yates. Rangers again messing around with it in an area that you don't really want to be messing around with it, and Lisa's picked up once more left hand side. Rangers causing themselves big problems here. Back the way it goes to Adams at the edge of the box, right hand side, closed down by Moore. Now it's Tate, tries to get the ball in, he's going to break for it. Yes, goal! Wonderful finish from Finn Yates from 20 yards out. Low pass Jack Butland, who dived to his left but couldn't keep it out. Rangers, the architects of their own downfall there, but a wonderfully taken goal by Finn Yates. It's Falkirk 2, Rangers 0.
Just that, listen, we can talk about how poor the Rangers defending was and how little care they took in possession of the ball, but by the way, what a finish that is. I mean, that's Kieran Tierney-esque in the big game that you commentated on, Al, but it was just a brilliant strike. Jack Butland had absolutely no chances, obviously set off outside the post and come back in. Brilliant finish.
Everything they deserve, Coley. Falkirk. You mentioned movement, Al. You know, people wanted to get on the ball, the speed, how they played forward. They've mixed it up. They played shorter passes, they played longer passes. Well, to say, for a Rangers perspective, how lacklustre they've been, how slow they've been. And I mentioned it to Richard pre-show. Where's the leaders? Who's the guys that you look at? Who's the guys you're looking at the eye when you want to go and win a title? Well, I'm looking at 11 of them today that didn't look like they want to win a title.
Yeah, pretty abject from Rangers so far, but so much credit due to Falkirk. Finn Yates for a third goal of the season, and he's a player who didn't really feature early on in the Premiership campaign, but he's worked his way back into contention, and what a finish, as the guys are saying, that was from the edge of the box. Just whipped it on his right foot from about 20 yards and right into the bottom corner, and Rangers have an absolute mountain to climb if they're to remain in contention at the top of the table. Just been off the pace as Moore though gets it through here on the left hand side. Chukwani tries to play it in, blocked by a Falkirk defender. Donaldson helps it on, and Falkirk get it up to the halfway line. Miller will go and chase that. He's beaten to it by Giga, and then Tavernier. Gassama for Asgard, nods it down to Tavernier. Shot with the pass to Raskan. Not been his greatest game so far. James Tavernier. Now Falkirk get the free kick in the middle of the park. But I mean, I mentioned it on a couple of occasions leading up to that goal. Rangers just so untidy at the edge of their own box, giving the ball away.
Well, listen, John said before the game that Falkirk would need to take care in possession. It was the opposite there. I mean, it just almost looked like panic stations. They just gave the ball straight back to Falkirk.
You think of all the things that are important, Colin, you know better than anyone else. The wee 50-50s, the wee skirmishes, like even just James Tavernier there, the wee short pass, and Falkirk sniffing it out and getting the crowd behind them, the energy that can bring to the team. Rangers, they look like a team that's already beat. I can't believe what I'm watching.
Well, they're unbeaten in 15 in the league since their only away defeat of the season at Tynecastle, but they are certainly looking on course for another one this afternoon, unless they can get their act together. But Falkirk in no mood to let that happen, leading by 2-0, and not even half an hour played here at the Falkirk Stadium. As Rangers have it on the halfway line. Fernandez just losing the battle there again though, and Falkirk come forward. It's Yates, the scorer of the second goal, beaten to it though, and Rangers pick up through Magoma. Now it's Chukwani, just touches it inside for Moore, tries to get it back through to Chukwani, can't quite manage it, and Falkirk do well to cut that one out, but Rangers pick up once more. Raskan to Magoma. Yeah, a little bit of a lethargic performance so far from Danny Rowe's side. He'll be absolutely furious. He looks pretty calm down there at the edge of his technical area, but cannot imagine he's happy at all with what he's seeing from his side in the opening half hour here, trailing by 2-0. Raskan, one of the players you'd be looking to try and inspire his side. Here's Gassama looking to get it back from Raskan, but instead he goes back to Tavernier. 10 yards inside the Falkirk half, square to Chukwani, and now likewise for Giga out to the left hand side for Magoma right on the touchline, trying to get the better of Brosio. He's done well, he's past him again, gets the ball in here to Moore on the edge of the box, trying to find a bit of space, gets it to Gassama inside the box, tries to play it here to Raskan, but Raskan didn't make the move that Gassama thought he was going to, and Falkirk get it clear. Rangers pick up once more right hand side. Raskan goes down, Gassama spins away and play continues. Challenge made. Falkirk biting into challenges, but eventually the free kick's been given. I think the advantage had already been played. I don't think you can bring it back after such a lengthy continuation of play there, but Don Robertson's done exactly that. Rangers get the free kick right hand side. Bit fortunate there, Rangers. It certainly was a free kick initially, but Don Robertson had decided to let play continue, but once the Rangers attack came to an end, he pulled it back, and Rangers will have this free kick on the right hand side. Tavernier a few yards in from the touchline, midway inside the Falkirk half, 31 on the clock. Rangers trailing by 2-0. It's a good ball in from Tavernier, but it's well won by a Falkirk head back there. Philip Lisa, I think, got his head to it, and then Miller wins possession, and he's taken down by Magoma, and Magoma's fortunate that that's a few yards inside the Falkirk half. Any much further forwards and he could be looking at a different colour of card, as it is a yellow, and again it's just a case of Rangers being a bit lax in the challenge there.
Yeah, picked his pocket again, Calvin Miller out. Just when you think of that energy to get to the ball, all too lacklustre for Rangers. This time Magoma, Calvin Miller's energy, as soon as it bounces, as soon as it goes forward, as soon as one of the orange jerseys take a touch, they're all over it. He's been brilliant so far, this Calvin Miller.
And you're right about there was echo, another 10-15 yards at the park. There was echoes of the Mark Leonard sending off the other week there for Hearts.
And obviously we watched Liam Henderson get sent off for Falkirk as well here. I think it was the Dundee United game, somewhere just probably only 5-10 yards further back than that.
Falkirk have taken the free kick, back the way it goes, and out to the right hand side. It's Keelan Adams into Henderson. Henderson towards the halfway line, lovely little drop of the shoulder to move away from Gassama, and now finds Lisa into Spencer. Closed down by Chukwani. Rangers have it. Here's Chermiti on the halfway line. Coming forward in the left channel. Moore's ahead of him again. It's a short pass though, and sliding in there went Spencer to win it back for Falkirk. They're now coming forward themselves down the right hand side. Falkirk by far and away the better side this afternoon so far, and deservedly in front by 2-0. Here they come, potentially looking for a third. As Tate's looking for it, goes back the way though to Adams and to Spencer, midway inside the Rangers half, back out to that right hand side. As Tate looks for a pass into Yates, it goes. Short ball back to Tate, and now Spencer once more. Rangers can't get near Falkirk, who knocking the ball about quite nonchalantly here as Donaldson plays it down the right hand side for Tate once more. Click forward now. Brosio hadn't made the run. Fernandez steps across. It's a poor clearance, and it's picked up once more by Yates. Now Henderson taking over. Lisa out to the left hand side to Miller. Now Danny Rowe's a bit more animated. He wants his side to press a lot higher. Lisa still in possession for Falkirk. Donaldson now about 10 yards inside his own half, out to the right flank for Adams. Rangers only beaten twice this season, but staring down the barrel of a third defeat as Bain fires a brilliant ball out to Lisa, left hand side. Now it's Miller. Miller tries to get it into the box, comes off the backside of Giga. Lisa takes over again, left hand side of the penalty area, plays it short, back to Yates. Yates into the feet here of Brosio, just takes a poor touch, and Rangers have it back, and Asgar works it forward to Chermiti, lays it off for Moore. Rangers need to get bodies forward here. Moore driving up towards the edge of the area, looking to get the better here of Cole. Donaldson takes the shot on, but it's a tame one straight at Scott Bain, and it remains Falkirk 2, Rangers 0, 34 played.
Donaldson did really well there. He wouldn't allow him in on his right foot, just like the goal he scored against Aberdeen recently, kept him on his left, and it was a comfortable save for Bain.
Tavernier knocks it back to Butland. It's one of the rare occasions that Rangers have threatened the Falkirk penalty area, but no real test there for Scott Bain. McGoma now back out to Moore, left hand side, just knocks it back to Rascan just inside the Falkirk half. We've got about 10 minutes left of this first half as Rangers give it away again in the midfield. Tate picks up about 10 yards inside his own half, feeds it forward. It's a lovely ball, and Brosio should catch that before it rolls out of play. Now at the corner flag, trying to get the better of McGoma, and off him for a throw-in to Falkirk.
Brilliant for Falkirk, Al, it really is, just down the sides. But I've never seen a Rangers team get played down the sides as easy as what this Falkirk team are doing, whether it be for full-back position, whether it be Calvin Miller, whether it be Brosio, whether it be Barney Stewart running channels. It's been so easy to get in behind and down the sides of Rangers, it's almost criminal.
Throw in 10 yards from the corner flag for Falkirk. Rangers fans not happy behind that goal. Their side have been poor, and then Henderson in there ahead of Asgard. It just is cleared by Giga, and up towards Chermiti now on the halfway line. Rangers breaking. Gassama in support. It's a terrible pass from Chermiti. He had Moore coming up on his left. He could have gone left, but even at that, the pass for Gassama was an atrocious one, and Falkirk easily cut that out. Rangers have been so far off it here this afternoon. They do not look, as Kevin said, like a side that is going for a league title here. It's Falkirk picking up on the loose ball once more. It's Calvin Miller, finds it into Brosio here, 25 yards from goal, central area, clips it out to Adams at the edge of the box. Adams still might find a room for a shot here, closed down there by Fernandez. Fernandez is furious with Chukwani, I think he's having a go at for maybe dropping his man. Falkirk get the throw in over on the far side. At least Fernandez showing a bit of spirit there as the ball comes in. It's headed away by Fernandez up towards Asgar, who just a moment ago lost out in a 50-50 to Liam Henderson, and it's just typical of what we've seen all afternoon so far, Kevin, that Liam Henderson just wanted to win that ball much more than Asgar did.
Yeah, and even when you mentioned Fernandez there, Al, like, it's the first time I've seen a wee bit of fire for a Rangers player, having a go at somebody, trying to get after somebody. It's like I'm watching Henderson. You know, he's jumping way. He was almost on the edge of the box when he's going and pressing the ball. It's incredible, really, for Falkirk. But I have to say, from a Falkirk perspective, Al, Rangers are here for the taking. There's another goal in this for Falkirk if they just show a bit more composure, keep on doing what they're doing. They could really put the gauntlet to Rangers today.
Falkirk throwing over on the far side, midway inside their own half. Down the right it goes. Rascan in the way. Rangers try and win it back and try and get a goal back before half time to inspire the comeback. Gassama with a really feeble effort from about 25 yards, dragged it well wide of target. It pretty much sums up Rangers' afternoon so far. 7.5 minutes left in this first period. Falkirk leading by 2-0. And Rangers, I mean, you go back to that pass from Chermiti as well, Ian, when they were breaking. It's just a lack of care almost.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you've got to give Falkirk all the credit, because although the Chermiti one, that was not to do with Falkirk, it wasn't getting put under any pressure. But one thing I'll say, John will be thinking right now, let's get to half time. I think there's another goal as well. Let's get to half time 2-0, because that breakaway, Falkirk had poured so many bodies forward, they're left 3-2, and it was only Chermiti's poor play that stopped a 1-1 for Rangers. So, you know, they need maybe not be so gung-ho for the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Got it on the edge of their own penalty area here. It's Dylan Tate, always so composed, the young man in there, and finds Brad Spencer out to the right hand side now for Adams. Adams about 10 yards now inside Rangers territory. Falkirk again composed on the ball. Henderson for Tate. Tate tries to fire it out to the right hand side, and he does so for Adams, who nods it down immediately. It's Brogio inside the box, and back goes Fernandez behind for a Falkirk corner.
Well, he just had to cut that back. Finn Yates was there, and he's made a really good run into the box. All he's got to do is take out the Rangers player with a cut back, and he's got a 1-1 against Butland.
A good some of Tate's longer balls.
Brilliant.
He's not just played low ones, he's played long ones. I remember one early on in the game, he played a wee cute one. I think it was Brogio, wasn't quite on the same path as him, but he plays a lovely wee reverse one, a wee disguised one. He's looked a real player today, Tate.
Miller then with a corner kick on the right hand side. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger, this one, as Falkirk look for a third before the interval, and it comes from Miller to the edge of the 6. Fernandez gets his head to it. It'll be retrieved here by Henderson. He'll just see it out for a throw in. If you just landed from Mars and arrived at this game and you were told one of these sides is going for a league title, well, it wouldn't be the team in orange you imagined, or the team in question. Falkirk have been to a man the better side. 2-0 to the good here as Tate slips it in here for Finn Yates, who got the second goal. It's Lisa now left hand side, curls it in, too close to the keeper though, and comfortable take for Jack Butland. 5 minutes left in the first period. Falkirk leading by 2-0. Good value for it as Fernandez has it, just knocks it back to Butland once more. Butland clips it out towards Tavernier right hand side. Miller comes back. Tavernier claims for a handball, not given. Yates tries to play it down the left hand side, out of play for a Rangers throw-in. Giga looking to take it quickly. Does so to Tavernier. Back to Giga once more, still midway inside his own half. Slides it down the right hand side. Asgar lets it go, and Gassama almost away there, and he's taken down by Henderson. That'll be a yellow for Henderson. It was almost promising for Rangers there, and not a bad yellow to pick up, I would say, for Henderson.
Yeah, but the thing, I'm watching Magoma. As soon as that happens, as soon as he get that free kick, he's still in his position in the back four. We should be flying 30-40 yards further up the pitch.
Tavernier then from the right hand side, midway inside the Falkirk half here. The free kick. Rangers have thrown a lot of bodies forward as they look to try and get back into this game. Trailed by 2-0 as Tavernier swings it in, flicked on there by Giga. It's going to come all the way out to the left hand side, be kept in by Rascan. Plays it short to Asgar at the edge of the box, tries to go low, it's come off the post, comes back to the left hand side. Rascan swings it back in, back post, back across goal, and it's off the post again, and then it's smashed into the net. Rangers do have one back. I think it's Giga who's hammered it in there. Well, Falkirk claiming that the ball had swung out of play, I think, from the Rascan cross. I think that's the complaints that they are making.
I think that's what it was, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you check that in VAR.
Yeah, it's Chukwani actually, I think, who's in the end smashed it into the roof of the net. Incredibly, Rangers hit the post twice in the space of a few seconds there. It eventually comes back to Chukwani, who left-footed hammers it high past Scott Bain, and for the moment it looks like it's Falkirk 2, Rangers 1.
I've never seen that coming out, that's for sure, how lacklustre Rangers have been, but this gives them a lifeline. That was my initial thought when Raskin played it in. It looked as though Falkirk stopped a wee bit. Everything seemed to freeze, then it hit the post, then ricochets, and as you mentioned, falls to Chukwani, who smashes it into the roof of the net, past Scott Bain. It certainly looked that way. I'm intrigued to see the outcome of this one.
It will be very difficult to check that. The VAR are asking for a continued delay here as they try to check the goal is a valid one.
Well, the initial thing, Al, is what's the linesman doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, he should be more or less on the line, because if play was Asgard's shot was from a tight angle.
Raskin goes out as well, second phase. Do you know what I mean? For off the back of it to then flip it back in, like surely the official is right in line with the ball that's coming back over. He would be in best place, surely.
You just felt as well this was a crucial, I said before, 3 or 4 minutes for Falkirk. They could be looking at 2 or 3 nothing up. You know, if this goal's allowed, it gives Rangers a huge lift. They've played really poorly. Falkirk have dominated, deservedly ahead, and they're now right back in the game if this goal is given.
Delay continues as VAR, Andrew Dallas in charge there, tries to check. So the goal is going to be given. It's
there you go.
2-1. Rangers back in it. Well, it'd be hard to argue they deserve it, but they are back to within a goal here this afternoon at Falkirk Stadium as Tochi Chukwani lashes the ball. And just to let you know, VAR are telling Don Robertson they don't have a camera angle that conclusively proves whether the ball had gone out of play from Raskin. The camera angle, it can't confirm that, and so they have to stick with the on-field decision of goal.
I'd like to see the linesman's positioning. I'll see where he was standing, because it's really therefore it's his job.
Well, Rangers do have that lifeline then just before half-time. They have a way back into the game. 2-1, then they trail. And all of a sudden, Falkirk not quite as comfortable as they have been for most of this first half. There's going to be 3 minutes added on at the end of this first period as Gassama has it right-hand side. Up against Henderson, across comes Lisa as well. He goes down, but play waved on by the referee. Dylan Tate inside his own penalty area, taking a chance, gets it to Donaldson. He just hammers it up the park, not standing upon ceremony there. Rangers have got their tails up here though, and it's Moore trying to dance through a couple of challenges. Well challenged though by Donaldson again, and wins it back for Falkirk. Miller helps it down the left-hand side. It'll be chased by the ever-willing Stuart. Giga's there first though, and he looks to be in charge of the situation, tries to play it back to Butlin, and Butlin was closed down there by Brosio, I think, who hadn't been spotted by Giga, and the Rangers keeper just gets it clear before Brosio closed him right down. Tavernier again getting himself into a bit of bother here up against Calvin Miller, but gets it out of play, and it'll be a Rangers throw-in. Comes off Calvin Miller last. Quite a dramatic ending to this first period, and Rangers, from their perspective, hoping that they have made the first steps towards a dramatic comeback here at the Falkirk Stadium. Tavernier's giving it straight to Spencer. Back comes Chermiti though, good work from him to win it, and Chukwani plays it up to Gassama. Gassama goes down again, he's waved to his feet by the referee. Falkirk pick up again. Gassama steps in though and wins it back. Here he is driving down the right hand side. Spencer trying to stay with him. Gassama's away from him, cuts it back to the edge of the box. Chance here potentially for Raskin. He's closed down though.
He's got to go first time.
Yeah,
he's got to hit it first time.
Too long, didn't he? He couldn't get the ball out of his feet eventually, and Falkirk survived that, but it was another big chance there as now the home side try and come forward. Too much on that pass, and Butlin will gather at the edge of his box. So Rangers don't really want the half-time whistle right now. They're the team in the ascendancy, even though they trail by 2-1. Free kick goes their way as Chukwani's clipped there by Yates. Free kick quickly taken. I think that, again, the sticky pitch didn't help Raskin, as you say. Ian, maybe he should have taken it on first time, but once he does take the touch, it almost like he can't get it out of his feet. Here's Giga on the halfway line. We've played a couple of minutes of those added on. Good play again from Gassama for Asgar. He goes down. He's adjudged to have been fouled by Tate. I'm not sure that Tate can do much more there. He can't get out of the way. But he's been penalised by Don Robertson. Is that a correct decision for you, that one, Kevin?
Yeah, I think he's been quite clever, Asgard, and just used Tate. I think you're right, Al. I don't think he can get out of the road, but he's obviously knocked it beyond him. Another good opportunity for Rangers.
Huge moment in the game. Huge.
So another opportunity here for Rangers. Just with an opportunity here. Tavernier with the free kick midway inside the Falkirk half again, looking to draw themselves level before the interval this time. Tavernier swings it in. Another good looking ball, and it's attacked well by Giga, but it's over the top this time, and the offside flag is actually going up in any case, and that'll be pretty much it for a first half that has been jam-packed with incident, and 3 goals as well, as Scott Bain prepares to send this free kick up the park, and that'll be that for the opening 45. Scott Bain in no particular hurry here, but as soon as he does play this forwards, the whistle will go, and there it is from Don Robertson, bringing to an end a first half that, well, Falkirk were the dominant side pretty much throughout, with the opening goal after just 6 minutes. Calvin Miller getting the ball down the left-hand side, and a pinpoint pass into the box for Ben Brosio to take the touch and tuck it past Jack Butland. Rangers didn't heed the warning, and after 26 minutes they were 2 goals behind. Poor defending at the back, giving the ball away far too cheaply, and eventually Falkirk punished them as it broke to Yates about 20 yards from goal, and on the turn he clipped one in to the bottom corner of Jack Butland, whose despairing dive couldn't keep the ball out, and Falkirk were 2 to the good, and good value for it. But just before the interval, Rangers found a way back into the game. Asgard initially hitting a strike off the near post. It broke back into play. It was whipped back across from left to right by Raskin. It looked like it potentially had gone out of play, but play continued as a header came in. That also struck the post, and just as Falkirk thought they'd survived, it broke to Chukwani, who lashed it past Bain into the roof of the net, and the VAR check couldn't rule conclusively whether the ball had previously gone out of play, and so the goal was given. And so it's all to play for in the second half, but Rangers will have to raise their game if they're to turn this game around completely. Falkirk have been excellent in the first half, and good value for the advantage at the interval. It's Falkirk 2, Rangers 1.
Falkirk versus Rangers.
What a magnificent goal!
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Your bills.
We can only just afford to pay a childminder while we work.
Your hometown.
I know in my local area, businesses have been badly affected.
Your family.
I am quite frankly very concerned about his future.
The decisions made in this election affect them all.
As the party manifestos launch, we're inviting the leaders to answer your questions.
There's less than a month until polling day, so tell us the issues which matter in your life.
The conversation starts with Radio Scotland Breakfast every weekday from 6 and continues right up till polling day.
Scotland, it's your election. We'll make sure your voice is heard. Listen on digital radio or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland.
This is Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon. We're with you until 3 o'clock, at which point it will be Off the Ball with Stuart Cosgrove and Ray Bradshaw, taking you through until 5. Later tonight on the telly, Sports Scene highlights, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. In the week ahead, tomorrow, online, bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland, the SPFL Scottish Football Roundup, all the best of the action from the Championship Leagues 1 and 2. And of course, Monday to Friday, the Scottish Football Daily podcast is published. You should subscribe to that if you wish to, whenever you pick up your podcast. But it's a great way of keeping across all the very latest developments in Scottish football. The live action in the week ahead, it's women's national team in qualifying action against Belgium. That's on Tuesday night, as live on Sports Scene on the BBC Scotland channel from 7:15. Half-time in the one remaining SPFL fixture of the weekend. Falkirk 2, Rangers 1, Brogio and Yates for the home side. Chukwuane with the late goal back for the visitors. Got to say, I mean, even had it been 2-0 at half-time, Ian McCall, no one could have complained that Falkirk did not deserve that.
No, they didn't. I did say 4 or 5 minutes from the end of the half. I thought they were just getting a wee bit gung-ho in terms of, the one, if you remember, the Chermite under no pressure to hit a terrible pass. It was 3-on-2, and Falkirk had committed so many men forward. I suppose that's what's got them their joy in the game, but it just always looked like, if they could get in at 2-0, they've got a real chance. They've still got a good chance to win the game, but they've got a serious chance to win the game. And Kevin said in the first half, you're probably watching it as well, Rich, for vast majority of the first half, it looked like Falkirk were more likely to get a third goal than Rangers was to get their first goal. I mean, we talked about before the game the movement away from the ball. Falkirk, they do it as well as any team in the Premier League. In the first minute of the game, Calvin Miller went to the ball, spun beyond James Tavernier, and got right in behind, and that has been a feature of the first half. That was really good movement, but other times it hasn't actually taken particularly good movement to get beyond the Rangers back line, and Tate, his passing of the ball has been absolutely excellent. Falkirk have been really, really terrific. You just wonder psychologically, to be going in just 2-1 up, we're losing that late goal. We don't know whether the ball was out or not. The Falkirk players seem to think it was, and maybe the linesman should have been better positioned. I've not got.
He was right. He was right there at the corner flag.
Oh, was he? Fair enough.
Whether he was absolutely focused on what was happening and looking for that, I don't know, Ian. But he was within a yard of the corner flag, so you would anticipate that he should be in a position to make the call. Yeah,
and I think Kevin said during commentary that I think the Falkirk players did switch off a bit, though. That you saw 4 or 5 of them with their arms up. That it's a goal kick. And when you do that, you're not exactly thinking about your job, and it was a really easy, poor, considering how hard Falkirk had to put so much into the game to get their 2 goals. It was such an easy goal to give away, hands up, thinking it's a by kick, and then not maybe picking up as tightly as you should be, and obviously Bain had no chance of the goal. But listen, Falkirk they've been really, really good. I mean, they played well. There's a great, I won't bang on, but there's been a great subplot in the game, the battle between Adams and Mikey Moore. If you look at the profiles of the 2 players, one of them came through at Tottenham Hotspur through their academy. He's now one of their wonder kids. The other one was at university, went to Cumbernauld Colts, and is now playing against them. I'm not sure Mikey Moore looks fully fit, but you'd say Adams has got the better of him thus far. So yeah, Falkirk have been terrific, and they may rue because Rangers will be better in the second half. They must be. They couldn't be poorer. They just need to be a bit, I don't know what Kevin will say, but I think they need to be quicker in terms of moving the ball, particularly along the back. The centre backs, the quicker you can move the ball, the more time somebody's got in possession, and even when it's a forward pass, it's done slowly. So I mean, 2-1, Falkirk still in the driving seat, but I'm pretty sure John will be a bit gutted it's not 2-0 or even 3-0.
Yeah, well, they did get it to 2-0, Kevin. It was when you had already highlighted the space that Falkirk were trying to use down that left touchline, and Miller gets a wee break of the ball, but he's away clear and behind, and it's such a composed finish by Ben Brogio. And then the second goal, Dylan Tate playing it in field, does take a wee deflection into the path of Yates, but what a finish that was. First time from 19 yards. I mean, 2 excellent goals from Falkirk's point of view. Yeah, brilliant, Richard. They've been a breath of fresh air. I like the word anticipation. I hate reactive. I think Rangers have been really reactive to situations that's happened, and Falkirk have had the real anticipation. They've been on the front foot. They've reacted to different situations that have happened for them. Whereas I think Rangers have just been a bit ponderous, and it's played into Falkirk's strengths because they've been so full of energy. They've been so up on making contact with the Rangers players that they've won so many second balls, and it's gave them great opportunities within good areas to go and hurt Rangers' defence. But as you know better than anyone, Richard, when Rangers get their goal 2-0 lead, listen, you'd rather be 2-0 up than 2-0 behind for sure, but when Rangers get that goal, it's gave them a lifeline out of nothing, because I kind of echo what Collie says, that if Rangers are as poor in the second half,
as they were in the first half, then I'm not so sure they're going to be winning this title.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just looking at that Rangers goal, and the bottom line is, if VAR were not presented with an angle which definitively shows that the ball has or has not looped out, then they simply have to go with the on-field decisions. I mean, it's out of their hands. They can't just guess in that respect. I've just been looking. I mean, from most of the replays you see, thinking, I mean, you can understand why the Falkirk players think it may be just from the cross. It was Raskan who... So that was after Asgard cuts in, hits the post, the ball comes out, Raskan delivers it back in, and that's the cross that the Falkirk players are complaining about. I think it's Giga who gets in at the back post. He heads it back across, comes off the post again with Chamiti in attendance, and then Chukwuani smashes it in. There was one replay there which I thought was going to give a more definitive view. The reason VAR aren't able to do anything with it is because the ball goes so high it actually goes out of shot. So you see the start of the cross, and then you just simply can't see the ball anymore. So you've got no idea whether it's crossed the line.
Yeah, it's flying a kite a wee bit, Richard, I suppose. But the bit, I suppose, for a Falkirk perspective is I need to see it back to see how reactive they are when the ball actually comes back in, because there was a lot of arms up in the air. I think they were calling for it, and the only thing that I could go on Falkirk's defence is that Nico Raskin plays it with his left foot. And obviously it's a really windy day, blustery day here at Falkirk, and if it was an in-swinger, he would be hitting it with his right foot, but he's hit it with his left, so it's actually out-swinging, so there's every chance that it could have obviously swung over the crossbar and then come back into play. But that's only me. Listen, I'm flying a kite a wee bit, Richard, in this wind. I'm guessing, I suppose, especially up here in the gantry.
How much more would it cost, Richard, for another 20 yards of height onto the far stuff?
I mean, it probably is the highest ball that we've seen. I mean, it really does loop high up into the air. I mean, I think you can't criticise in any way VAR, because they can only deal with what they've got, and it's not one that, I mean, instinctively you kind of feel, ooh, did that go behind? But it's not one that's so obvious, and they simply can't determine. Anyway, it has allowed Rangers to get back into this, but as you were saying, boys, clearly Danny Rowell is going to have to get a bit more, isn't he, out of his title chasing squad for the second half.
Absolutely. Well, I see Miovski out with his strip on, doing a bit of a warm-up, so I can see him coming on. Maybe it's a little change of shape. They might go with the two strikers, but yeah, they've been really, really poor, for a game of this magnitude. And you know what's going to happen, if they don't turn that around and go and get a win, all sorts of accusations about their bottle and the spirit, etc., will be made on Monday morning, and all week actually. Yeah, there's not been a lot of fluency about it. It's a difficult game to play. It's a difficult game to play football, on the pitch, and and with the swirling wind. It hasn't really affected Falkirk's game plan. They need more. I just think they need more from individual players higher up the pitch as well. I've been a wee bit starved. Mikey Moore's their talisman. Maybe need a bit more from him, albeit that he's not had a lot of possession. Gassama has been really poor. Chermiti has been really poor. I think the base in midfield has been okay, but it's certainly the players that are supposed to create, and Asgard as well, haven't really done enough with the possession they've had.
In terms of Falkirk then, Kevin, is it more of the same?
Yeah, I think so, Richard. I think the down the sides, and when the ball has turned over, they've made a real impetus, Falkirk, to stay really narrow in the middle of the pitch, and it's gave them a bit of joy. They've almost allowed James Tavernier, the width of Rangers, more so down this side, and then Calvin Miller's just picking up a really cute, clever position just off the back of James Tavernier, and when the ball turns over, he's got that left channel to run in, and obviously that's where the first goal come from. So I think John McGlynn will be more of the same. He'll know that Rangers are going to have a period in the game where they're going to need to suffer, but that naturally then creates a wee bit more space down the sides, and Falkirk have been really, really good. I have to say, when I'm looking at the team lines, Richard, Spencer, Tate, Brogio, Miller, Yates and Stewart have been absolutely fantastic. That's not taking anything away from the back line, but you then look at the front four for Rangers, Gassama, Asgard, Moore and Chermiti. They've not offered all too much, to be honest, and there's I suppose there's a reason why Miovski looks like he's going to be coming on at half-time. Yeah,
look, we said beforehand that Falkirk, talked a lot about Falkirk, the season they're having for much of that first half. They've shown exactly why they have been the threat that they have. Pressure on Rangers, 45 minutes. Talked a lot about that beforehand too, didn't we, Kevin? About the mentality, about the desire of players. This is where those Rangers players, because while Falkirk have their own ambitions, there's much more riding in this for Rangers. Those players are going to have to step up in this next 45 minutes.
Yeah, I spoke about fire in the belly, Richard, and I seen it, don't quote me on what minute it was, but it was well after half hour within the game that Fernandes comes out and makes a lunging block and tackle somewhere in the Rangers area. I think it might have been Henderson that nicked it on the edge of the Rangers box, and he comes running out. Then he has a right big bark at Chukwueze, and obviously we're too far away to see what type of language you use, but it was a real aggressive, you know, like almost get your finger out type attitude. And I'm thinking that should be for the start. That should be in the warm-up. That should be in the changing room. They should be getting after each other. And the performance in the first half's not suggested that this Rangers team, looking at that performance, look like they've got the belief and the mentality to go and win this title. But listen, football changes quickly. They get a lifeline. They score a good goal, albeit a scrappy one, and you just never know what this next 45 minutes can bring.
Well, as you say, football changes quickly. I mean, really up until that goal, you're assuming that Falkirk are going to go into this with a 2-0 advantage. Their tails are going to be up. They're going to be so full of confidence. And it just rattled them a wee bit. I mean, the last few minutes of the first half didn't quite look the same assured team. So they are going to want to try to get back on track in terms of putting the pressure on Rangers and potentially adding to their 2.
Yeah, and obviously you're going to look at the bench as well, Richard. Obviously Rangers look like they're going to play their hand really quickly. I'm pretty sure that John McGlynn will be really delighted with what he's seen, albeit the sucker punch late on in the first half. But I think the subs are going to be really important, because as the game started to get stretched, I think you're bang on, Richard. It just looked like Falkirk were getting a wee bit edgy. There was a wee bit more space. Rangers front players, Gassama got down the side. Raskin had the one that he probably could have hit first time, takes an extra touch. I think Cole Donaldson jumps out and blocks it. So you just got to think that if they have got a better performance in them this second half, then they will create chances, Rangers.
Can't help but feel the early minutes of this second half could be huge in terms of how this game is going to turn out. Highlights, best of the action from this and indeed from the 5 games from yesterday on Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. We're with you until 3 o'clock. Then between 3 and 5 it is Off the Ball with Stuart Cosgrove, Ray Bradshaw and special guest Cammy Kerr. So stay tuned for the guys. The team's back out at the Falkirk Stadium. It is 2-1 for the home side. A massive 45 minutes ahead, live here on Sports Sound and BBC Radio Scotland. Falkirk against Rangers with Kevin Thompson, Ian McCall and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. Yeah, Majowski has come on. It's Mikey Moore who's made way. I suspect he is not, as Ian was suggesting, 100% fit. He was a doubt, certainly during the week. And he hasn't really been at his sparkling best, although you could say that about pretty much every single Rangers player. But Mikey Moore certainly a little bit off it, and he's replaced by Bojan Majowski. So it'll be interesting to see quite how that affects the Rangers shape. The guys will keep an eye out for that as Rangers do get back underway. That's the only change at the interval, as Falkirk look to ensure that they see out the victory and move to within a couple of points of Hibernian in 5th place. Rangers, for their part, looking to get, well, at the very least they want from this is a draw, and even that's not ideal, but they'll certainly take that more than the no points that they're currently heading for, as Raskan drags Tate to the floor. Raskan protests, but the free kick will go Rangers' way.
Yeah, Gassama's swapped sides, Al, and Askar's went to the other side, and I think Majowski's just playing off Chermita.
Yeah, well, I think, Kevin, we were chatting pre-match. I think most people who've watched Rangers over the course of the season believe Gassama's best side is the left-hand side. It's certainly where I've seen him play, especially at the start of the season. It's where his best performances have come.
Yeah, he likes cutting in on that right foot. We obviously seen him go down outside once in the first half. That created that opportunity for Raskin, albeit it was a hard one. But I just think when he's in full flow, see, if I ever coached him or manager him, I would just tell him, like, never come back. As soon as you land on it, go and dribble, go and be brave, go and be bright. If you give the ball away, it's fine, run back and get it back. But he's so eccentric when he gets going, but he just flicks into games and filters out of them just too easy at times.
Rangers coming forward, and it's Gassama who'll latch onto the good forward ball from Raskan. Cuts in field, can we get past Adams? Good challenge from Adams, but Gassama's done well. Allowed to continue, flashes across goal, must be equaliser! Yusuf Chermiti is brilliant from Jerry Gassama, and last showing that bit of desire and hunger to win the 50-50 against Keelan Adams, and then flashing the ball across the 6-yard box, and a deft touch from Yusuf Charmiti to knock it in early in the second period. It's Falkirk 2, Rangers 2.
Yeah, I mean, Keelan Adams will be absolutely gutted that he's not won I think it was a 50-50 or even a 60-40 in his favour against Gassama, who's a winger. He's come away with the ball, and it wasn't a foul. The referee was correct, and he's just fired it across. And I don't know if he knew much about the finish, but it's a decent finish. Listen, it's game on now.
Don't often happen that, Al, when we're just talking about Gassama getting in behind and just not turning back and going and being positive, and then he just creates something out of nothing. He's such an exciting talent, but he's such an enigma. He's got so much talent, bundles his speed, he can drop his shoulder and go both ways. He's got the quality, as Collie mentioned. It's maybe not the best ball in, but it's in a good area. And it's a distinctive wee touch for Charmiti in the end. Game on now.
Yeah, 10th goal of the season for Yusuf Charmiti, who had that glaring miss in the first half. But a lovely deft finish to make it 2 apiece. Falkirk looking to respond quickly and get themselves back in front. It's good play from Ferrozio. He's away from Fernandez, and then he's just run out of play though, claiming he was being fouled, but referee points for the goal kick. But as Kevin says, very much game on as Rangers have come back from the dead almost, looked down and out, but 2-0. But all of a sudden at the start of the second period it's 2 apiece, and here they come once more. Charmiti wins it. Majowski back for Charmiti, well off target, and it's another poor finish from Charmiti. Got himself into a good position, but the layoff from Majowski right into his path, and he gets it all wrong on the finish from about 15 yards, and it remains Falkirk 2, Rangers 2.
It's a brilliant chance. You know, he's got it, he's laid up perfectly to hit it in a half volley and get a really sweet strike away, and he's just got it all wrong, miles over the top.
It's very much in keeping with the season he's had. He's scored a good goal here, but a couple of poor finishes, you'd have to say, for a man who's a striker, and that's essentially his main job. Falkirk at the other end trying to come forward. They won't be, trying not to be too flustered by the loss of those 2 goals either side of half time, as Miller picks up at the angle of the box out to the left hand side, picked up here by Yates, infield for Tate at the edge. Falkirk knocking the ball about at the left hand side. It's Lisa into Tate clips it forward. Tavernier just lets it drift over his shoulder and sees it out of play for a throw in deep in his own half.
Yeah, it was the one just, for me it was the one 4 or 5 minutes before the interval. It just changed the whole complexion of the game.
Yeah, and a little bit of controversy about it. We can't say, obviously we've not seen replays of it, but it sounds like even the replays that have been shown fail to make clear whether Raskan's ball back into the box was out of play or otherwise. So goal was given on field. Rangers are going to have to be careful here. Fernandez gets his head to it with Barney Stewart closing down on him. Giga now knocks it forward down the right hand side. It'll be picked up by Lisa. Steps away there from Majowski on the halfway line. Philip Lisa then knocks it back to Donaldson, fouled by Raskan. It'll be a free kick there on the halfway line. Quickly taken by Spencer, forward for Finn Yates. We've got the second goal for Falkirk. Miller now left hand side, up against Asgard, midway inside the Rangers half. Yates on the angle of the box. Tate back into Miller, edge of the box. It's Yates once more, trying to find the top corner. You can see exactly what he's trying to do. Just got too much elevation on it, and behind for a goal kick to Rangers. Falkirk 2, Rangers 2. 6 minutes played at the start of this second period.
Yeah, he needed a tip at the finish like the one he did in the first half. I mean, it was laid in perfectly to him. He's just looking to fire it beyond the far post and let it come in.
Rangers not giving up this unbeaten record easily. 15 in the league without defeat, as Magoma clips it forwards. Henderson takes a touch, falls kindly for Adams, who knocks it back to his goalkeeper, who clears up towards the halfway line first time, but Raskan's got it, and he's got it back from Asgard here, the edge of the box. Raskan's released it, shot! Raskan with a goal! Wonderful finish! Rangers have turned this game on its head remarkably at the start of the second half. and the Rangers fans are jubilant, as are the players. Nico Raskan with an unerring finish into the bottom corner. It's Falkirk 2, Rangers 3. Remarkable.
I've never seen that coming out. What a brilliant finish for Nico Raskan. He actually backs it up, and he's not done it enough. But he started the second half, Al. He committed a foul against Tate, which he could have probably been yellow carded for. He then left one on Lassa on the other side there. What a brilliant finish this is for Nico Raskan. Straight across Scott Bain into the far corner. That's why I'm not a betting man, Al, because I've never seen that coming at half time.
Yeah, they're finding all sorts of pockets of space in behind the Falkirk back line now, and I mean, it was a great finish, I agree. I'd like to see, I'm not sure Scott Bain should have done a wee bit better. I'm not sure, I'll wait to see it later on, but good. Yeah, I never saw it coming either, but great finish from Raskan, great strike anyway. Could Scott Bain have done a wee bit better?
A 6th goal of the season for the Belgian midfielder, and what a remarkable turn of events here at the Falkirk Stadium. Trailing on 42 minutes by 2-0. 52 minutes, they are 3-2 up. Someone said very early on in this game, I think it was you, Ian, there's going to be goals in this game. Well, you're not wrong, and there probably are going to be more the way it's gone. Who they'll come for, that is the question, but Rangers very much the team in the ascendancy, and Raskan's robbed Tate on the halfway line, and now it's Gassama coming forward away from Yates. Can he slip it here to Chermiti? Chermiti will try and angle it. It's a good save by Bain, straight at him in the end, really is. Chermiti trying to find the curling finish to the far corner, and straight at Bain in the end, and it remains Falkirk 2, Rangers 3.
Where was this Nico Raskan now in the first half? He's been absolutely brilliant. His energy, you know, driving across the pitch there, stealing it off Falkirk, setting up another attack. That's the Nico Raskan, and that, listen, I'm not questioning the lads' mentality or their personality, because you only know off the back of hindsight. But they've looked at such a different animal in the second half already. Nico Raskan has been catalyst for everything that they've done so far.
Here's Yates, clips that forward, looking for Brosio, away by Fernandez. Tavernier will pick up the loose ball, right hand side, closed down by Miller, gets it forward. Was he fouled? No. Play continues, Falkirk pick up possession. Now they're looking to get themselves back on level terms. You would have dreamed of saying that when they went 2-0 up after 26 minutes. They were so far on top in this game. The Rangers, well, maybe that's the mark of champions, turning it round, but they've not certainly got the 3 points yet, as Raskan runs into trouble, and there's a free kick going Falkirk's way just inside the Rangers half.
And see, watching it, Alex, you know, Miovski's not really coming off that much. It's almost a traditional 4-4-2, where, you know, with the two wide players coming in a bit narrower, out of possession.
Fernandez under pressure, he's lost it. It's Yates right hand side, but his cross is a poor one, straight behind, and Rangers will have the goal kick. 10 minutes played in this second period. Rangers have already got themselves a couple of goals in the second half to lead by 3-2, and it's their fans now who are making the racket, having been drowned out in the first half by the Falkirk faithful, who are stunned into silence almost. They can't believe that their side have gone from such a commanding position to trailing at the start of this second period. A long way to go though still, as Adams tries to force it forward, but he's lost out. Now it's Chermiti, who also looks more at it at the start of this second half, battling away there, losing out in the end to Spencer. Now it's back with Donaldson in the right back position, plays it back to Scott Bain. Bain, poor clearance, slices it out of play here on this right hand side, and Rangers will have the throw in, and they'll want to get more goals, because you wouldn't back against them losing some more, so they'll need at least one more to give themselves a bit more comfort in the game.
We've never even seen that though, Al, like forcing Falkirk into mistakes. It was all too easy for Falkirk, just lacked real edge without the ball, Rangers.
The Gomez throw is going straight behind for a goal kick, to be taken by Scott Bain, out to Henderson, and now Philip Lisa. Lisa back to Henderson at the edge of his own penalty area. Falkirk have only lost one of their last 5. That was here in the last home game against St Mirren. Spencer plays it forward, Yates tries to help it on. Fernandez, I think he's a bit short with that pass back, is he? Butland comes out, gets there just ahead of Barney Stewart. Major let off for Manny Fernandez there. Bailed out by his goalkeeper, who had to come a long way and got there just in front of Barney Stewart. As Falkirk give it away in a poor area though. Gassama picks up, and now it's Raskan in the centre circle, driving his side forward. Looked like he was clipped there. Rangers still have it though. It's Tavernier midway inside the Falkirk half, clips it forward, comes up a Falkirk head, breaks through again for Raskan, left hand side. Magoma on the outside of him, but it's back in field for Chukwani. Chukwani tries to thread it through, doesn't find the Rangers boot, and it's half clear, but Fernandez picks up into the feet of Asgar with his back to goal, midway inside the Falkirk half. Poor pass, but Chukwani digs him out of a hole, and Magoma now picks up. Raskan left hand side, he'll curl this one in, it's a great ball. Majowski! Rangers have a fourth! Incredible stuff here! Brilliant ball in from the left hand side from Raskan, and Majowski with an unconventional finish off his left thigh, I think, just bundles it home, and Rangers from 2-0 down lead by 4-2. It's simply sensational.
Yeah, I mean, Raskan has just taken this game by the scruff of the neck from half time. He's been absolutely magnificent. I mean, setting the tone, not just with nice passes, but winning the ball, getting close to people. That's a fun. Listen, poor defending from Falkirk, I don't think there's any doubt about that, but it's a brilliant ball into the box. I think Majowski kind of fired it in some of that, but listen, the bottom line, they put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, what a change in team out. I don't know what Danny Rowell said to this lot at half time, but what Colley's mentioned, when you think of a proper Rangers midfielder, someone that drives you up the pitch, wins the ball back, plays forward, scores a goal. Now he's got an assist to his name as well. I think you're right, Cole. I think it comes off his midriff, if we're allowed to say that. He almost thighs it in. The poor defending from Falkirk, and now you've got to expect more goals out, but I can't see them coming from Falkirk now.
4-2 Rangers with 58 minutes on the clock, having trailed by 2. Just 3 minutes left at the first period. And those Hearts and Celtic fans who would have had the popcorn out in the first half, looking at the demise of one of their title rivals, well, it's a different story now that they are watching unfold, listening to unfold. And Falkirk, they're just stunned, shell-shocked almost, and they need to recapture their mojo, or else, as Kevin's suggesting there, it could get worse for them. They need the next goal in this game, and Calvin Miller picks up left hand side, dragged to the ground, but he gets himself back up and continues in possession, tries to fire it in. It's a deflection there, it's going to be a Falkirk corner left hand side. What a game this is, almost an hour played. Falkirk 2, Rangers 4. Falkirk need to find a response. As John McGlynn said, they're not on the beach yet. He doesn't want them to be relaxing. They've got a Scottish Cup semi-final on Saturday to look forward to. They don't want to be going into that anything negative in their heads. The ball comes in, Butland with a good fist to it. Gassama helps it out of play. There's a poor challenge there as Fernandez is taken down, but play continues and Gassama picks up. He's just overrun it, and Barney Stewart then prods it forward, and Falkirk will come again, and then Chukwani penalised for his challenge on Brogio there just inside the Rangers half. This game's just never stopped.
If the ref was consistent there, he'd have brought that back for the free kick that it was the first half.
Yeah, he could have done. Spencer out to the left hand side to Lisa midway inside the Rangers half, and that left flank finds a good ball in for Tate, but he's just taking a poor touch, and nothing is really coming off for Falkirk now, whereas everything was in that first period, and Rangers try and work their way forward from inside their own half. It's Chermiti trying to link with Raskan, that doesn't come off though. Here's Yates to the left hand side for Miller on the halfway line, having to come back the way to Donaldson.
I mean, the difference in Rangers pressing the ball is unbelievable in this half.
Well, Rangers need to come back here on the final day of the season. It could be a very, very important final day of the season. You wouldn't put it past the title being decided on that final day of the campaign. And certainly the way things are looking at the start of this game, they might not even have been in contention on that final day, but Well, they've turned it round, and here they come forward once more as Chermiti plays it back into the path to Tavernier. He stayed down, Chermiti, but Tavernier continues. Poor ball in, easily cut out by Henderson. And then Spencer plays it high. It's not a great clearance from him though. Down goes Asgar, and that's going to be a free kick as Chermiti picks himself back up. I'm not sure if he was caught late as he played the ball back forward, but Rangers have got a free kick here in a decent position, right of centre, but only about 25 yards from the goal. And certainly if they get a fifth goal, then that would surely kill off Falkirk altogether.
Yeah, I mean, Falkirk really rattled now. You mentioned it there, Alan. I mean, their clearances in the first half, I'm not saying it's an art form clearing the ball, but you don't have to just slash at things and just, you know, put it out of play. Done it 2 or 3 times, not had enough composure to knock it into a good area. Rangers are very, very much in top.
Tavernier over the free kick as usual. Right hand side, just about maybe 10 yards in from the touchline. Opportunity to send the ball in here towards the penalty spot as he does. Donaldson gets to it first and he manages to direct it back to Scott Bain, who grabs that one and immediately tries to feed it to a teammate. In the end he picks out Yates on the left hand side. Up towards the halfway line comes Finn Yates, whose second goal for Falkirk must feel like an awful long time ago now for him, as Magoma now has to deal with a bit of pressure, only gets it half clear. He stayed down, he needs to pick himself back up. D'Ambrosio has it, low ball in, but Butlin gathers. And Magoma stayed down still. I mean, I think unless he's badly injured, Kevin, it goes back to what you've been talking about. Like, unless you literally cannot get off the ground, as soon as you know that the game's continuing, surely you just get yourself back up and try to make some sort of effort to stop the ball coming back in.
Yeah, I thought it was a wee bit of pride maybe that he maybe got pushed for D'Ambrosio. I actually thought he did push him on the back. It could have been a foul, really a soft one, but I'm hoping he'll be okay, Al, but it didn't look like there was much in it. It looks like he's holding his lower back. I don't know if D'Ambrosio just gave him a kind of shove on his lower back, and as he went to deal with the ball he's maybe just jarred a wee bit, but
well, Rangers desperately don't want him to have to go off. For the absence of 2 Romans, they don't have really direct cover, although Max Aarons has played at left back over the course of the season, so that would be the likely change you would imagine. Maybe I'm doing Jayden Magoma a bit of a disservice there, but just seemed to be pretty innocuous when he initially went down, but he is receiving treatment here from the Rangers physios. But it's been just a remarkable turnaround in this game. Rangers pretty much abject in the first period, but they did get themselves that lifeline, as we spoke about just before the interval, Ian, and they certainly made it work for themselves.
Key to the whole game. I mean, it made Danny Rowell's talk at half-time just that bit easier. You know, they changed a couple of things. Maybe they had to change it because Mikey Moore wasn't fit enough to continue, but it's been a different Rangers team in the second half, and you know, they have changed. I don't think Miovski's playing off Chermiti in any way, shape or form. I just think they're playing as twin strikers. One sometimes is off and maybe sometimes is the other one, so they've been really dominating in terms of, you know, getting to the breakdown of the ball.
Goma's back on and play back underway as Chermiti's done well to win it. Miovski out to the right hand side for Tavernier. Rangers looking for a fifth, clip to the back post. Kasama can't get on the end of it, it's going to come all the way through. Chukwani would be well advised to just try and keep that in play, but actually he's going to win himself a free kick called. Donaldson is bundled into the back of him. Apologies if our microphones are picking up any bad language. It's proving offensive, but Rangers have the free kick pretty much right at the corner flag on the left hand side.
It's a sloppy one as well, Al, for Cole Donaldson. There's no real reason to foul Chukwani. It then comes in with a wee bit more speed, obviously, with your foot, rather than it potentially being a throw-in. We know how good James Tavernier's delivery is.
As I say, almost from the corner flag, just a yard off the goal line. It's Tavernier from the left hand side. Back post ball's headed towards goal, but over the top in the end. I think it actually is a push being spotted by Don Robertson. It's going to be a free kick to Falkirk, but either way, nothing coming of the free kick as far as Rangers are concerned. Almost at the midway point in this second period, Rangers 4 goals to 2 up, having come from 2 goals down, and certainly looking the side more likely to get the next goal as well. Calvin Miller deep in his own territory, back to Henderson, into Miller once more, pressurised by Majowski. Now he falls on the ball. Miller is allowed to continue. He's done well to get away with that, and digs himself out of trouble and finds Keelan Adams right hand side up towards Brosio. Brosio trying to spin away here from Magoma, and then Raskan holding him up, but Brosio continues and gets it out to Tate right hand side, only onto the chest though of Fernandez, who cuts it out near post and can try and play it away. His clearance has been blocked though. Keelan Adams picks up just outside the box into Brosio, out to the left hand side for Lisa, 25 yards from goal. Goes the little give and go there with Miller. Oh, by Tavernier, that's a penalty. That's clumsy and careless from Tavernier, and all of a sudden Falkirk come away back into the game as Tavernier's shown a yellow card. This Rangers captain just allowed Lisa to get goal side of him as he played the 1-2 with Miller, and then his ankles were clipped. And down he went, Falkirk fullback, and Don Robertson points to the spot, and all of a sudden we could have more drama here.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now, James Tavernier. Lovely wee give and go, as you mentioned, for Lisa. He's been really good today. Just sloppy really for James Tavernier, just a give and go. Doesn't move his feet quick enough, clumsy in the box. I know we're quite away for it. I don't see much complaint for James Tavernier, to be honest. I think he clips his heels.
Yeah, I think he knew he was bang to rights there. VAR just double checking the award of the penalty, but it looked cut and dry from our vantage point, which to be fair is quite far away from the incident, away off to our right. But Falkirk all of a sudden will have an opportunity, and the penalty is going to be confirmed. And Tavernier's booking likewise confirmed by Andrew Dallas in VAR. So a big moment in this game here for Falkirk, because if they get this back to 4-3, the nerves will begin to jangle again among the Rangers players and fans, no doubt. So it's Calvin Miller who's going to step up here. Jack Butland has got such a good record in saving penalties. He's saved every single one this season. Can he do so again from Calvin Miller, who steps up, left-footed, is into the bottom corner. Butland got a glove to it, but it finds the back of the net, and Falkirk are back in it once more in this remarkable topsy-turvy game. It is Falkirk 3, Rangers 4.
Yeah, listen, when I said I thought there was going to be more goals, I didn't expect half a dozen. But I mean, Butland's really unlucky there. I mean, as well, he could have let the penalty in, but he got a really good hand to it, Coach. I think it's a terrific penalty from Calvin Miller, and I think it was just the pace of the ball that put it in the net. Some changes coming up for Falkirk.
I'm glad it wasn't open all mic, Scully, that we were on.
A couple of changes here for Falkirk as Finn Yates makes way, and I'm not sure who else is going off there, but Kyrell Wilson and Ben Parkinson have come on, and also Jaden Magoma is going to be replaced by Max Aarons here.
I'll just to let you know, I played in a game, Falkirk v Celtic at Brockville. We were winning 4-2 with 15 minutes to go, and we got beat 5-4. Don't know if that's an omen.
Who knows, but you wouldn't put it past there being 9 goals in this one, that's for sure. Already been 7. And Rangers, who looked to have taken charge of the game, all of a sudden their lead is back to just 1 goal.
It really is amazing. Goals change games. They were playing with real personality, swagger. Rangers, they looked like they could go and score another. And a wee bit sloppy defending. And now game on again.
It certainly is. Just trying to work out, I think it's Ben Brosio's the other Falkirk player who's been replaced there along with Finn Yates, with, as I mentioned, Wilson and Parkinson coming on. And just to confirm, Aaron's on at left back for Magoma, who took that knock a few minutes ago. So what we've got left, just under 20 minutes. Just 1 goal in it once more, and it would be a fool to predict how this one's going to end up. Ian McCall, how's it going to end up?
I'm not a fool, Al. I'll tell you what, there's still goals in it.
Nah, that is a reasonable prediction for sure. As Rangers get into the penalty area, it's Majowski trying to keep the ball under significant pressure here, pokes it back the way. Falkirk managed to scramble it clear. Miller's done really well. Now it's Wilson. Aarons just pulls her back, and his first action is going to be to enter the referee's notebook for the most obvious yellow card you're likely to see this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's quite conclusive for Max Aarons. He just gets caught wrong side out, and it's probably a good one to be fair, as Falkirk were breaking.
Well, Falkirk will get a real lift from that goal for Calvin Miller. He's their second top scorer. 8 goals now for Calvin Miller, who a number of people have been speaking about as potentially in contention for a place at the World Cup squad. He didn't get a look in, unfortunately for him, in that most recent friendly squad, but he's got an opportunity to curl one, and it's just wide from Calvin Miller from the edge of the box. You probably feel he should have done better, because he had a great angle to try and find the bottom corner, and he sends it a couple of yards wide.
Absolutely, but he also had a man in front of him which he could use as a shield to curl it around into the far corner. That's half a chance for a boy who has ability.
It's a big chance, Al. He had the wee reverse pass as well that we've seen off Dylan Tate in the first half. He did have a man outside him, but we know he's got the quality, has Calvin Miller, just to find that far post to Jack Butland. Couldn't quite get his foot round it.
No, certainly a player of his quality, and what we've seen from him this season, you wouldn't have bet against him finding the bottom corner there. Spencer takes a real chance against Chermiti, but gets away with it. Pass for Donaldson's not a great one, but Donaldson's picked it up and then fires it forward over the halfway and up towards Parkinson. Substitutes. Rangers win it, and it's out of play, and it's anyone's guess whose ball that is. The referee gives it Falkirk's way. Throw in taken by Adams into Miller. Back goes Raskan. Raskan's done well to win it from him again. Past the challenge there from Lisa, and finds Majowski. Majowski, a good ball out to Gassama, left hand side. Back comes Adams up against Gassama. Here comes in on the right foot, tries to curl one, comes off Donaldson. Goal! Yusuf Chermiti restores Rangers 2-goal advantage. The ball broke kindly to him off call Donaldson. Rangers claimed for a handball, but it didn't matter, because there was Chermiti to grab his second goal of the game and make it astonishingly Falkirk 3, Rangers 5.
It's Raskan. He had no right to win that second ball in the middle of the pitch. I don't know, it might have been Tate it was against, I'm not sure. He comes away with the ball and he sets up the whole game and the whole goal, and I think Chermiti, it's a really, really good finish. It's a comfortable finish from about 8 yards.
I think it was Calvin Miller, Collie, that nips his back pocket.
He's just so determined,
He's really good at that. He's got such a low sense of gravity. He's so powerful, steals it. I have to say, when Rangers moved the ball quickly and they got out with Gassama, they look a real threat, albeit they get a wee bit of luck off the initial shot for Gassama. Chermiti been a bit harsh on his opportunities out, but he took that one well.
He did that, yeah, from 12 yards or thereabouts, central area, just hammered it home. And now Rangers with a 2-goal lead again, but this time there's only a quarter of an hour for Falkirk to try and dig themselves back into this game. But this has been absolutely breathless from start to finish. One of the games of the season.
I don't think it's been the main factor, Al, but I certainly think it's been one. Majowski and Chermiti, when you think of how aggressive Cole Donaldson and Liam Henderson were in the first half, knowing that they'd always have that cover, they were really aggressive, straight into body contact with Chermiti, got so many second balls, gave Falkirk an opportunity to go and attack off the back of it, whereas just having Majowski and Chermiti as a front twos just gave Rangers that platform, that physical presence in the final third.
Here's Dylan Tate for Falkirk, trying to find a way back into the game once more. As Rangers, though, have been awarded the free kick for a challenge on Aarons on the edge of the box. Well, just an incredible game of football. Rangers looking to move back to within a point of Hearts at the top of the table going into the split. A couple above Celtic once more. An improved goal difference again. Rangers have the best goal difference of the three sides, as Connor Barron is going to come on here. And he's going to replace Tello Asgar. So that's certainly a case of maybe trying to shore things up a little bit in the middle of the park, trying to keep things a bit more secure. as they look to see this one out.
Yeah, Danny Rose,
well in contention.
Sorry, Danny Rose been trying to get the message on. I think it might be a slight change in shape. He's trying to get the message on for about 2 or 3 minutes before making the change.
You know, with Conor Barron, call, he won't get beyond the ball. He'll be told. It looks like he is going to play on the right-hand side. Raskin in that midfield three, which you probably expect it to be more a flat three.
Free kick taken by Butland then. Rangers leading by 5 goals to 3. Chermiti's in a hat-trick and he's on the lookout for it here. Picked up by Majolski, left-hand side of the box. He has made a difference since coming on. Now it's Chukwani, whose goal got Rangers back into the game just before half-time. Tavernier down to Barron, claims for a handball there inside the box. Nothing given immediately by on-field referee Don Robertson. Will be checked, as everything is inside the penalty area, by VAR. Andrew Dallas. Back to Butland it goes from Aarons, and then he lashes it forward. Chermiti won't keep that in, out for a throw-in. It has been checked and cleared by Andrew Dallas, who says that the arm was in a natural position, so suggests it did come off the arm, but no penalty. So continues as Falkirk 3, Rangers 5 inside the closing quarter of an hour now. Falkirk coming forward here. Fernandez there first, taking no chances, just hammers that out to the right hand side. And out of play for a Falkirk throw-in, but 15 yards inside their own territory. Well, I think we were all pretty unanimous in our view in the first half that it didn't look like we were watching potential title contenders. Has the second half changed your perspectives, gentlemen?
Yeah, listen, I think they've been really worthy, Al, in the second half. Rangers, everything they've done. I think the front two have been a real handful for Falkirk's back line. And they've just shown more energy. Collie mentioned it, Raskin, he put himself about, he got involved, he got tight, skirmished together.
Yeah, there's a bit of a coming together here. Dylan Tate knocked to the ground there by Nico Raskin after a poor challenge by Tate initially, I think on Aarons it was, and the referee's got a bit of sorting out to do there. Nico Raskin now going back to Dylan Tate, and Liam Henderson putting himself in the way, a bit bigger than those two. Don Robertson will just have a word at the very least. I imagine a booking is going to come for Tate for the initial challenge, and probably Raskin for getting involved in the confrontation. Raskin's now got his arm around Karel Wilson as he is now called towards the referee, and he is going to go into the book, and he could have been booked at least once before in this game. Nico Raskin eventually finds his way into the referee's notebook. The free kick will eventually go Rangers' way. It's Gassama actually who's the man fouled initially by Dylan Tate.
You asked Al about Rangers looking like champions. I think going forward at times, but I would say I expect Braga and Shankland to really test the two centre backs. I mean, big time. I think they would get the better of them, but going forward, certainly the way they've played in the second half has been really terrific.
Another change for Falkirk as Henry Cartwright comes on, having scored that fabulous equaliser here against Rangers back in October, and it's Calvin Miller who has replaced Cartwright for Miller as Rangers, take the free kick forward by Aarons down the left hand side, headed away but picked up by Gassama. He's going to get another bite at that after firing it straight at Cartwright initially, and Chukwani as well biting into the challenge, but it breaks off him and out for a throw-in on this near side to Falkirk, midway inside their own half. We've got just under 10 to play. It's Falkirk 3, Rangers 5. No, you're not hearing things. It really is. And that after Rangers trailed by 2 after 26 minutes. But it's been a goal fest to say the very least, as Bain clips it out to the left hand side to Lisa. Coming in off that left hand side, was it short to Spencer. Now Donaldson, about 15 yards inside his own half, square to his defensive partner Liam Henderson. Up towards the halfway line it comes, clips it up towards the edge of the box. The Falkirk player's gone down. It's Barney Stewart off the ball. Nothing amiss in terms of the referee giving a decision. It's picked up on that left-hand side. It's Cartwright now picking up possession, trying to find a bit of space, more or less in the position he fired in that equaliser, given away by Rangers. And Falkirk have it once more out on that left flank. It's run out of play there. Unfortunately, Ethan Ross incidentally has also come on. As Falkirk look for a way back into the contest, having got themselves back to within a goal of Rangers with the Calvin Miller penalty. But Yusuf Chermiti's second of the game just a few minutes ago, restoring that bit of a cushion for the visitors.
I mean, our Rangers have played a lot better, but the big thing is that the one-on-one duels, they're just winning them all over the pitch now. They just were not doing that in the first half.
No, that's a very fair point. They certainly upped their game in this second period. A throw in here midway inside their own half. Tavernier takes it to Raskan, but he tries to get it back to him and gets the ball stuck underneath his feet. Now it's out for a Falkirk throw in, to be taken by Philip Lisa, about 20 yards away from the corner flag, left hand side. Can Falkirk get themselves back into the game here once more? Rangers have won it back inside their own penalty, and Tavernier just clips it down the right hand side, chased by Majolski. Out of play there from Henderson. Rangers will have the throw in. Looks like they're going to continue that unbeaten run in the Premiership. They are by some distance the form team, certainly since Danny Rule took over. Coming into this one, they've won 7 points more from one game fewer, so that'll now be 10 points more than their nearest next best. That was Celtic since Danny Rule took over, winning 18, drawing 6 and losing 1. That is if they can hold on to the victory here. It'll be 12 points more than Hearts in that same period, as Donaldson rolls it back to Scott Bain. His clearance hits Conor Barron, who picks up once more in the middle of the park, just knocks that back to Giga. Giga plays it square but short for Fernandez, and Barney Stewart's going to pick up on the angle of the box here, trying to engineer another goal back for Falkirk. Plays it back to Brad Spencer, back to Stewart on the edge of the box, clip towards the back post, almost a chance there for Parkinson, just evades him, the ball in there, and behind for a goal kick. Falkirk I think wanted a corner. I think they felt there was a clip on the ball that came in, but nothing given, and now Rangers are going to make a couple of changes here with Antman and Diamonde coming on for the closing stages. Chukwani is going to make way, having got his side back into the game just before half time. Diamonde will go in and replace him in the centre of the park, and man coming off for Antman is JD Gassama, who has certainly, like most Rangers players, upped his game in the second period and been a key part in turning this game around.
Yeah, there's no doubt that right hand side doesn't quite suit him as much, Al, as being on the left and cutting in on that right foot. He's a player that he's so exciting at times, I suppose probably infuriating at times for the Rangers fans, but when he's at his best, he does get any full flow. There's a real good player in there.
It's the same as almost every young wide player. They all want to play on the opposite side now. You don't get a left foot on the left side with Calvin Miller today and the right foot on the right side. It doesn't happen. Don't know why. Well, I do know why, but anyway.
Here's Ethan Ross on the left hand side for Falkirk, trying to bring them forward. Comes away from Tavernier, tries to get away from Raskan, but Rangers pick up possession, and it's Antman feeding it forward for Diamonde. Majolski trying to keep himself onside now. Antman's made the run into the box. His attempted cross takes a nick off a Falkirk player and back into the arms of Scott Bain. Rangers flooded players forward there, but on that occasion nothing comes of it. Into the last 5 minutes of the game, Falkirk 3, Rangers 5. Highlights tonight on Sports Scene on BBC Scotland Channel, 7:15. As Cole Donaldson rolls it back to Scott Bain, who's been beaten on 5 occasions. Here's Henderson. And now Scott Bain once more outside of his penalty area, out to the right hand side for Adams, quickly closed down by Diamonde. Back to Donaldson, poor touch. Has he kept that in play? No, he hasn't. Out for a throw in. Rangers get the decision there. It just looks like Rangers are edging their way towards such an important victory in this title race. Falkirk having been worthy opponents, to say the very least, in the first half. As Donaldson now nods it behind for a Rangers corner, and the Falkirk fans beginning to make their way towards the exits. They have pretty much given up the ghost, some of them.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Donaldson obviously was brought into the team for his height and his power in the air. I think he maybe looks a wee bit, he's missed so many months of the season and the last season as well, and it maybe just catching up on him a wee bit. I think in the second half he struggled with the pace of the game.
Tavernier from the left-hand side here with a corner kick, right-footed. He'll swing that into the edge of the 6-yard box. Well won by Barney Stewart. Chases his own clearance here. Antman picks up though and out to the right-hand side. Chermiti lays it back into the path. Antman's a good ball. Another goal for Rangers, and it's Bojan Majowski with his second of the game as well. Antman with a wonderful ball right across the 6-yard box, and there was the predatory Majowski to tap in. And now the Falkirk fans flood towards the exits. They cannot believe that this game has been turned on its head to such an extent. It's Falkirk 3, Rangers 6.
Just brilliant, Al. Ruthless is probably the best way to describe that. Antman, brilliant ball across the face. Clever wee run down the side, get in behind Falkirk. It's a brilliant ball in, almost on a plate. Game, set and match now, Al.
It's amazing when your centre forward stay beside the post. I mean, I think 3 or 4 of the goals have come from their centre forwards being in the right area, and it was great play, and they looked like they could score every time they went out of the park in the second half.
You know what they've done, Collie? They've been quite a bit old-fashioned, Rangers, in the second half. We're having the 2 big key players in the front area, almost as you mentioned, 2 number 9s, and they've been a real handful. Majowski, Chermiti for Cole Donaldson and for Henderson. Yet in the first half, when they were playing 2v1 against Chermiti, they looked really comfortable, really aggressive, always one covering. But we're having the 2 up front for Rangers in the second half. It's caused Falkirk all sorts of problems.
It's been just quite the most incredible game, and Bojan Majowski, remarkably, despite having rarely started, you would have to say, he's now equal top scorer this season on 13 all told. 7 of those coming in the league, 2 of them coming this afternoon against Falkirk, and the second has put the nail in the Falkirk coffin. As great a season as it's been for the home side, they have in this second half just fallen apart as Rangers underline their title credentials, having looked well short of them in the first period. But they have laid down another marker. There'll be 4 minutes added on at the end here. We're almost at the end of the 90 right now. And Rangers improving their goal difference once again this afternoon. It could yet prove crucial. They'll move to within a point of Hearts, 2 above Celtic, and it is all to play for going into the post-split fixtures after the Scottish Cup semi-finals next weekend. We'll have them live for you across the BBC, and then it'll be back to league business, and it's just going to be such an incredible end to the season, Kevin.
Yeah, it's so hard to predict, Al, because at 45 minutes I'm thinking, wow, it almost frustrated me how poor Rangers were. And obviously it's not our time anymore, we've had our time, but you just sense like a real lacklustre performance at such a crucial time of the season. But I have to say, they've been absolutely magnificent in the second half. Catalyst for Nico Raskin, his energy, his drive, and then the front boys have been a real handful, and they've got what they've deserved in the end, Al, but I've never seen it coming after 45 minutes. Who's going to win this title? Your guess is as good as mine.
Scott Bain flips that one out to the right hand side. Kyrell Wilson trying to keep it in, comes off Aarons. Falkirk throw in, and Danny Rule applauding his players down there, and he'll be absolutely delighted with the response he's got for whatever he said at half time. As Raskin picks up possession, wins it from Cartwright on the halfway line, driving his side forward once more, already on the score sheet, still going. Almost loses his footing there as Donaldson robs him of possession, but he has been terrific in the second period, Nico Raskin. and as Kevin said, the catalyst really for Rangers' recovery in the game, and they'll need more of that in the final 5 of the season if they are to be champions once again. As Cartwright picks up possession, we're into those 4 minutes of added on time. Here's Keelan Adams out to Wilson, right hand side, up against Aarons here. Aarons, remember, on a booking, but he's the man who's fouled on that occasion, just got his body between man and ball, and Wilson just clipping him and bringing him to the ground. And Rangers will have the free kick, which they're in no great hurry to take, leading by 6 goals to 3. I don't think anyone would have had that on their coupon.
I forgot it was 6-3. I just reminded me, I thought it was 5-3.
Quite easily done.
Make sure I've got that noted down there.
Glad I've got it written down. As Jack Butland prepares to take the free kick, long it goes onto the head of Philip Lisa, high in the air from him. Back comes Parkinson to win it, and then Lisa's onto the loose ball and almost latched onto it once more. Parkinson again will pick up for Falkirk, left hand side. Lisa was almost through there as he bounded forward, but Rangers win it back, and it's Tavernier taking it off Parkinson and then forward by Giga. Falkirk pick up the loose ball once more, and Cartwright feeds it forwards. Falkirk have lost it though, and Diamondi in the middle of the park out to the right hand side. Chermiti looks like his race is pretty much run. He's not expending too much energy here. He just holds the ball up, feeds it forward for Diamondi. It's a tired pass, but I guess you can say he's done his job. He's got 2 goals, 2 of the crucial goals in this game, and it's behind for a goal kick to Falkirk with just under a minute left to play. The Falkirk stands emptying here, and the Rangers fans will make their way home. They could have been forgiven for giving this one up after 26 minutes when they fell 2 behind and playing so poorly, but credit to their players, they have dug in and provided a performance and a result, most importantly, that keeps them very much in the title race. Tavernier plays it forward down the right hand side. Lisa just trying to see it out of play, which he's managed to do just about. Just a few seconds remaining now in the most pulsating of games. It's full time at the Falkirk Stadium in one of the most enthralling games of the season, which is saying something, isn't it, in this most captivating of Premiership seasons. But this might have topped the lot. Falkirk, the better side in the first period, in good value for a 2-goal advantage, which they built up through Ben Brosio initially after 6 minutes, and then Finn Yates with a fabulous finish from the edge of the box to make it 2-0. Falkirk were in charge, but Rangers managed to give themselves a lifeline just before the interval as Chukwani lashed in. Falkirk claiming the ball had gone out of play. VAR unable to verify that, and so the goal was given to make it 2-1 at half time, but that only told a real fraction of the story. Rangers came out the trap second half, and Gassama put one on a plate for Chermiti to equalise 2 minutes into the second period before Raskan fired them in front on 52 with a brilliant low finish past Scott Bain. It was 4-2 on 58. Raskan the provider this time, and Majowski bundling it home off his thigh. Falkirk weren't finished though. 10 minutes later, Tavernier brought down Lisa in the penalty area, and Calvin Miller's penalty, although Jack Butland got a glove to it, couldn't keep her out. That made it 4-3 Rangers, but then they found another gear. Gassama had a shot blocked with 15 minutes to play. It fell kindly for Chermiti, who hammered home his second goal of the game to make it 5-3, and then Majowski put the icing on the cake with just a couple of minutes left for his double. Antman the provider on that occasion. Terrific ball in from the right hand side, and a tap in for Majowski to make the final score here in a quite wonderful game. Falkirk 3, Rangers 6.